Hello. Welcome to Biowise with Aanchal. I hope you are studying well. So now today is the next part of the preparation, I should say, which includes structure, function, and location. Important for your biology examination. Now there are 90 structures that I could find from your syllabus, which could be important. As I move with the presentation, I'll be telling you what is important, how to write the answers, and this will give you the complete detail of all the structures, their functions and location as it should be written in the board examination. So without wasting time, let us proceed. Now, before that, if you have not subscribed the channel, you are requested to do the same and like and share with your friends so that more and more students can be benefited from this. Let's proceed. Now, first chapter, that is your structure of chromosome, cell cycle, and cell division. In this chapter, we have chromosomes. Now, what is a chromosome? You all know definitions we have already done. Function is to carry or transmit the hereditary information, and it is located in the nucleus of the cell. Now, it is present in both animal and plant cells, so you can write this. Centromere, you can see this orange part. This is the centromere. What is the function? It holds two sister chromatids together, right? It holds two sister chromatids together, provides attachment site for the spindle fibers. So these are the two important functions of centromere. And location, constricted region of the chromosomes present where two chromatids are joined together, right? So this is the location of centromere. You are expected to write all these things so that it gets registered in your mind. Okay, moving ahead. Next topic, next content, that is your genes. What are genes? Genes, you know that they are the specific nucleotide sequences. Where are they present? They are present on the chromosomes as specific segments of DNA. And what is the function? It carries genetic material or hereditary information from parents to the offsprings or the children, and it also controls all the cellular activities by regulating proteins. Okay, you can see here how in the cell, the chromosomes, on the chromosomes, the DNA, and on the DNA, there is gene. Okay, the diagrams will help you to understand the location better. Not all have the diagrams, so asters. What are asters? Asters are, you can see here, when the centrioles divide during the cell division initiation, that is in the prophase, that time there is a radiating structure that comes out of the centrioles. That happens only in animal cells. So you have to mention animal cells. So here, formed around each centrosome at the pole uh, of the spindle apparatus in the animal cell and anchors the spindle poles. I think the things are swapped. It should be the function and it should be the location. Okay, now here is the location written and here is the function written. So anchor the spindle poles to the cell membrane and determines the plane of cytoplasmic division. It also stabilizes the spindle position and ensures proper chromosome orientation during cell division. This is the function of asters. Generally, you should know what asters are. In animal cell is very important. Okay. Next one, transpiration and photosynthesis. Stomata, the most frequent question that is asked. Now, what is stomata? You know that it's opening in the leaves. Now, where are they present? It is in the epidermis of the leaf. Now, children, here epidermis is the keyword. You have to write epidermis. Otherwise, no marks. And it helps in diffusion of gases. Lenticels are present in the old woody stem, on the bark of the old woody stem. Old woody stem is very important. And again, the function is diffusion of gases. Moving to the next, cuticles. Cuticles protects the surface of the leaf and prevents water loss. That is the function. Location, it's a non-cellular waxy layer secreted by epidermis above the epidermal layer of the leaf. So you have an epidermis and above that there is a waxy coating. That waxy coating is called cuticles. What are hydrathodes? You can see here this blue color diagram where you can see all the vein endings. So all the vein endings are open and they are called hydrathodes. From there, the water comes out by the process of guttation. So where are the hydrothodes located? On the edges, margin, and tips of the leaves. And what is the function? Exudation of the excess of water from the plants by the process of guttation. So this is the function of hydrothodes. Then you have again guard cells. Guard cells, these bean-shaped cells. Okay, these are called guard cells. Now, where are guard cells present? Around the stoma, on the epidermis surface of the leaf. And what does it do? It regulates the opening and closing of the stomata by changing the turgidity to control the gaseous exchange and transpiration. This is the complete answer. Chloroplast, it's an organelle present only in the plant cell. So it's mentioned here in the plant cell. It is mentioned in the plant cell, and the process is photosynthesis. Different steps of photosynthesis takes place in different components of chloroplast. We'll see it in the next slide. Now here you can see chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a pigment. It's not a structure, but generally the function and location is asked. So chlorophyll is a pigment which is present on the walls of the walls of the thylakoids of the chloroplast. Walls of the thylakoids of the chloroplast is the location. And what is the function? It traps sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Thylakoids, you can see these stacks. One coin is basically the thylakoid, and the stack of coin is called grana. So thylakoid photosynthesis, light reaction, it's a site of light reaction. And what is the location? It's a flattened disc-shaped membranous sac in the chloroplast. Stroma is a matrix. The function is dark reaction. And location is fluid matrix that fills the space between the inner chloroplast membrane and the thylakoid membrane, right? Grana, the location stack of thylakoids in the chloroplast, function is same as thylakoids, that is light reaction. Moving to the next, the circulatory system. Now, in the circulatory system, the hepatic portal vein. Now, you can see here spleen, then your pancreas, then your gut, then your intestine, all are connected to liver by this blue, that is blood vessel. Now, this carries the blood, deoxygenated blood from all these organs and sent to the liver, right? This is called the hepatic portal vein. Now, what is the location? Vein connecting the intestine and the liver. Not only intestine, actually the entire alimentary canal and the liver. And what is the function? It carries nutrient-rich deoxygenated blood from the gastrointestinal tract directly to the liver for the process of detoxification storage before it enters into the circulation. This is your complete idea about the hepatic portal vein, the function, what it carries, where it is located. Okay, very important. Then you have the circulatory system. You can see here spleen. Spleen, now here is this, so this part is the spleen. You can see this is stomach. Behind the stomach, there is a spleen on the upper abdomen. So what is the function? It is upper abdomen behind the stomach. And function of spleen is filters blood, destroys RBC. It is also called the slaughterhouse of RBC. It stores blood platelets and immune organs, platelets, immune organ, and produces lymphocytes. It's an immune organ, right? Spleen is considered as an immune system organ. It produces lymphocytes. Now, where is heart? You can see here heart is in the center, but it is slightly tilted towards the left. So it pumps blood to the body and the lungs, and it is present in the center of the thoracic cavity between the lungs, slightly tilted towards the right, towards the left. And children, the notch where this is present, the lungs has got a small depression that is called the cardiac notch. Okay, cardiac notch. So heart is present in the cardiac notch. That you should know. Then next one. This is your heart, you can see. Now here I'll just show you the different parts. You have the atrium, the ventricles. You can see this is the ventricles. This is the septum. Then here you have the tricuspid valve. Here you have bicuspid valve. Here you have the aortic semilunar valve. And here you have the pulmonary semilunar valve. Correct? Here you have the biggest artery, that is aorta. So all these structure and function can be asked. Now these cusps are being attached to the papillary muscles of the heart walls by a cord, which is called chordae tendineae. So that is also asked. Here you can see the SAN node, structure present just where the superior vena cava opens, that moves to the AV node, that is at the, just opening of the you can say right ventricle. Then you have this bundle of his, and finally the Purkinje fibers. So you can see all these structures very clearly in the diagram. So let us see how these, how you have to write in the exam. Okay. Moving ahead, like next is the bicuspid valve. What is the function? It prevents the backflow of blood from the left ventricle to the left auricle during the ventricular systole. Now this is the opposite direction. So backflow is prevented during the ventricular systole. And where it is present between the left auricle and the left ventricle. I have written short form. You are not supposed to write short form in the exam. I have to type 90 structures and functions. So I have written short forms. You don't write short forms, please. You just write the full forms. What is LA? Left auricle, left ventricle. Tricuspid valve prevents the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right auricle during the ventricular systole. It is present between the right auricle and the right ventricle in the heart. Then aortic semilunar valve prevents the backflow of blood from the aorta to the left ventricle during the ventricular diastole. Between the left ventricle and the aorta leaving the heart. Then pulmonary semilunar valve prevents the backflow of blood from pulmonary artery to right ventricle during the ventricular diastole, and it is present between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery, right, leaving the heart. Okay, something is wrong here. Between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Okay, this line is extra here. This is not there. Okay, this is wrong. This is not there. Okay, so leaving the heart. This one, please write so that it is helpful to you to learn for your exams. Or in just some time you can practice with me. Yes, next one, the circulator, then you have the different nodes that I have shown the other diagram, right? Here SAN, that is, arterial node, full forms I have already done in the abbreviations. So generates electric impulse for heart contraction. Where it is present, it is a specialized mass of tissue in the right atrium near the opening of the superior vena cava. Very important. AVN, atrioventricular node, relays impulse transmit to ventricles. Where it is present near the intra-auricular septum near tricuspid valve. Bundle of his conduct impulse to the right-left bundle branches and begins from the AVN and extends into the interventricular septum. Purkinje fibers spread impulse rapidly through the ventricles, run across the walls of the ventricles. Okay, so this is about the different, the electrical supply to your heart. You should know the function and the location. Again, next important thing, that is chordae tendineae. Now, chordae tendineae, you can see here that all the cusps are held in place because of these fibers. It is just like the wire of parachute, which does not allow the parachute to open in the other direction. So here, what is the function? It holds the cusp of the valves in position and prevents the overturning in arteria or the atrium. And here, the location, it's a tendinous cord-like structure present in the ventricles or on the ventricular walls of the heart that holds the cuspid valves in position. It is basically attached to the papillary muscles of the heart. You can also add that. Okay, in position, it is attached to the papillary muscles present on the ventricular wall. Ventricular walls. Okay. This is, you can easily write. It is attached to the papillary muscles present on the walls of the, and then you can write to hold or if you're holding walls, holding the, holding the cusps, holding the cusps of the valves of the tricuspid and bicuspid valves. This also you can write. Okay. Of the valves. Okay, this you can also write. Clear? Next one. Human excretory system, next chapter. Now, in this chapter, you can see here that where is the kidney located? It is actually behind your digestive system. So, it is on the back side of your body. Correct? That is your excretory system. And you can see here the right kidney is little lower than the left kidney because of the arrangement of the liver. And you can see the different colors. You can find out the blue one is the renal vein, red one is the renal artery, and then you have the afferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole, their structure, then which part of the nephron is in the renal cortex, which part is in the medulla. You can see here this part is in the cortex and the lower part is in the medulla. Now let us see the explanations. Kidney, what is the function of kidney? Filtration of blood and osmoregulation. And where it is located? It is located on the posterior. Posterior matlab पीछे. Anterior matlab आगे. So, along the posterior abdominal wall on the either side of the vertebral column, that is your backbone. Urinary bladder, the function is temporary storage of urine. Please write down this, okay? Temporary word is very important because it does not store urine forever. It stores urine only for certain period of time. It is temporary storage of urine. In the pelvic region of the abdomen, urinary bladder is present. Bowman's capsule contains a knot-like mass glomerulus for ultrafiltration. Basically, it just holds glomerulus. The main function of ultrafiltration is done by glomerulus only, and it is present in the renal cortex. Glomerulus, ultrafiltration of the blood in the Bowman's capsule in the renal cortex. This is the complete answer. Don't leave just by writing in the Bowman's capsule. And renal word is important because you have to say where it is present, which organ it is present. So renal means it is present in the kidney. Okay. Excretory system PCT, it reabsorbs more water, glucose, sodium, and chloride ions. It is the tubule which is present near the Bowman's capsule. DCT is the tubule present away from the renal capsule, that is Bowman's capsule, in the renal cortex. And what is the function of DCT? It reabsorbs the remaining chloride ions. The difference between a loop of Henle and DCT is chloride and sodium ions are separate, and PCT mein both are there. Okay, and DCT also responsible for secretions of potassium and chemicals like drugs and all. Okay, and collecting tubule, it receives urine from the DCT and pours it in the renal pelvis. Okay, the function of collecting tubule is it collects the urine from all the nephrons and then finally it puts it into the renal pelvis from where it drains into the ureter. Okay, so ureter is what? A tube connecting the kidney and the urinary bladder. Okay, and what is the function? It carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder for temporary storage. And where is collecting tubule present? In the renal medulla. Right? Moving to the next. Nephron, the structural functional unit of kidney. So, what is the function of nephron? Filtration of blood, formation of urine. Where it is located? In the kidney. What is renal artery? It carries oxygenated blood to the kidney from the aorta and it arises from the aorta, enters the kidney through the hilum. Hilum is a small mark on the kidney, you know that. Renal vein carries deoxygenated blood from the kidney to the vena cava. Whenever a vein and artery is mentioned, please mention what type of blood it carries and where it is carrying it to. Okay. So this is the structure and function of excretory system. Moving to the next chapter, the nervous system and the sense organ. I have taken both the chapters together. Now brain controls and regulates the complete body function and where it is present in the cranium box. This is your cranium box. So inside the skull, the brain is present. What are meninges? Meninges are the layers around your brain. There are three meninges. What are those? DAP, DAP, DAP. What is DAP? Dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater. And what is the function? It protects the brain and spinal cord from mechanical shock or injury. It contains CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, which helps in the nourishment of the nervous tissue and also helps in the support and anchoring the blood vessels supplied to the CNS, that is central nervous system. Then next is CSF, that is your cerebrospinal fluid, acts as a cushion, protects the brain from mechanical shock, and provides nourishment. Where is it present? It is present in the space between the meninges around the brain and the spinal cord. Corpus callosum. Now, corpus callosum and corpus luteum can be given as differences. So be very sure with the function and location because both can be asked as differences. Now, corpus callosum transfers information from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere of the brain. It is a fibrous sheet connecting the two cerebral hemisphere. Now, the similar function is done by pons also. Okay, but it helps in the muscle left coordination with the right coordination and also the transfer of impulse. And here, corpus callosum is transfer of information. Moving to the next, cerebrum, that is the bigger part of your brain, controls all the voluntary actions, intelligence, logic, reasoning, analysis, and it is the largest part of the forebrain, occupies upper part of the cranial cavity. This is your cranium, so upper part of the cranial cavity divided into right and left hemisphere. Then you have got cerebellum. Cerebellum is your control and coordination. An alcoholic person cannot walk properly because of the lack of coordination arising because of the cerebellum being affected. Okay, and where it is present, that is at the base and under the cerebrum. Medulla oblongata controls the involuntary actions in the hindbrain, especially at the bottommost part of the brain stem. Children, in certain books, it's written as skull. Now, skull is a what to say part of bony structure. But the base of the skull says it's better to write at the most bottom part of the brain stem. Okay. And then it continues with the spinal cord. So your medulla oblongata is there. Then you have an extension of your brain stem, and that brain stem continues to in your spinal cord. So this is the right answer. Then next one is the pons. Carries impulse from the one hemisphere to the other cerebral hemisphere. Coordinates the muscular activity of left and the right side of the body. And it is present at the base of the brain just above the medulla oblongata. Okay. Hypothalamus regulates temperature, maintains homeostasis, control and regulates pituitary gland. It also regulates your thirst, your hunger. Now always remember whenever structure and function is asked, by reading your answer, you should get back to the question that is asked. For example, if I ask you that which structure is responsible for carrying impulse from one hemisphere to the other cerebral hemisphere and coordinates the muscular activity of both the sides, the answer will be pons. Right. A hard fibrous structure which connects the two hemisphere is corpus callosum. So you should come to the answer that you write. Okay. Then where is hypothalamus? It is in the diencephalon, that is in the forebrain part. There is a corpus callosum. Below the corpus callosum, there is thalamus. Below the thalamus, there is hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus, there is extension of pituitary gland. Okay, and this is just present above the pituitary gland. Then coming to your sense organ part, yellow spot, macula lutea or fovea centralis, site of distinct and sharp acute vision. And it is present on the horizontal median axis. If you look straight, a straight line goes and hits your retina. There you have the yellow spot, and that is the site of maximum vision. Blind spot, to serve as the exit point for the optic nerve. There is no important function as such, but it is a site where optic nerve generates. So it carries all the impulse there. Then this is the same point where all the blood vessels enter and exit in your eye. Lateral to the yellow spot at the point of origin of optic nerves. Conjunctiva, outermost layer, provides a protective barrier against debris and infection. When it gets inflamed, it is a disease called conjunctivitis. On the anterior surface of the eye, forming a continuous inner lining of your eyelids, reduced to a single layer of transparent epithelium over the cornea. So over your eye, there is a single layer of conjunctiva. It gets inflamed, it's very painful and irritating, right? Next one, lens. Refracts and focuses light onto the retina by changing its shape, that is accommodation, to allow clear vision at varying distance. And what is the location? Crystalline body behind the pupil of the eye. Aqueous humor keeps the lens moist and protects it from physical shock, refracts light, and where it is present, that is in front of your cornea, and the lens, the place in front of it has aqueous humor, and lens and retina, the place is filled with vitreous humor. So vitreous humor keeps the shape of the eyeball, protects the retina and its nerve ending, and it is present in the larger cavity that is called the vitreous chamber of the eye. And this is important. Where it is present? Between the lens and the retina, between the lens and the cornea. So this part is very important when you write the answer. Okay. Then next, ciliary body. Ciliary body is actually the body which is a circular type of muscles which hold your lens. So it brings out changes in the lens to accommodate your vision. And it lies at the junction of choroid and iris. Okay. Lacrimal gland, that is to get tears. Now produces tears to keep your eyes moist, lubricated. It washes away dust particles. Also contains lysozyme to kill infection germs. So it also protects your eyes. And where it is present? It is present here. So that is your upward portion of the eye socket. This is your eye socket. So here it is present. That is your lacrimal gland. Then here you have lacrimal duct. Here you have nasolacrimal duct. And inside you have those openings through which the tear drains into your nose. Sometimes you feel like crying, but you don't cry. Then your nose starts getting filled up. Your throat starts getting filled up because that all tear starts flowing into your nose and the throat. Okay. Moving to the next, organ of Corti. Organ of Corti, sensory cells for hearing. It is present in the inner ear in the cochlea. Now, this is the transverse section of your cochlea where you have the basilar membrane of the median canal. The basilar membrane of the median canal of the cochlea in the inner ear, there are sensory cells present, which is the organ of hearing, which is called organ of Corti. Ear ossicles, that is, what are the three names? Mention the names in the comment box. Chalo fast. Let me see how much you know. Mention the names in the comment box. Chalo, fast. Mention the names in the comment box. In the comment box. Fast. Let me see how many of you can know the name of the ear ossicles. Okay. Mention the name of the ear ossicles in the comment box. What is the function? It amplifies the vibration that pass it to the eardrum, pass it from the eardrum to the inner ear. So when the sound travels in the auditory canal, it goes and hits the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane or the eardrum starts vibrating. It transfers the vibration to the ear ossicles, the first, second, and the third one, which you are going to write in the comment section. And that vibration is passed to the inner ear, which is filled with fluid. So finally, the vibration changes into the ripples of the fluid in the inner ear, which stimulates the organ of Corti, and you can hear. So where are ossicles present? In the middle ear. Okay. Moving to the next, that is your eustachian tube. Now, eustachian tube is the connection between the middle ear and the throat. Middle ear and the throat. That is why you put any medicine drop and it comes to your throat. And it's actually connected till the pharynx. Pharynx first, larynx later. You know that, no? Larynx the voice box. Uske upar pharynx. It equalizes the air pressure on the either side of the eardrum, allowing it to vibrate freely. And that is the reason why you feel there is a block in the ear when you travel in a higher altitude. You go to the mountains or in the aeroplane, you feel that your ears are blocked. That is because of this difference in the air pressure. Then you have semicircular canal in the inner ear, maintenance of the dynamic equilibrium of the body and the spatial orientation. Utriculus and sacculus maintains the static balance. Utriculus and sacculus is for static balance, and your semicircular canal is for your dynamic balance and spatial orientation. Okay, that is the movement, and this is when you are standing stationary. And cochlea is transmits the impulse to the brain by the auditory nerve. It is the inner ear. And what is it is basically utriculus and sacculus is kind of a short stem that connects the semicircular canal, that is a ring-like structure. I hope you remember the structure. You have three semicircular canal, and then you have a small short tube, and then you have the cochlea, which is connected to the nerve, right? This is your inner ear structure, a rough diagram. So this part is the vestibule, this part is the inner ear, and this part is the cochlea, right? Moving to the next. I hope you are getting the things clearly. I hope you all are writing, children. This is very important. You people don't have the habit of writing, and that is the reason why you can't score in your exam. If you write, you have something called muscle memory. So that helps you to retain the facts for a longer period of time. So write if you want to learn, and next time only refer to your written notes. That will help you to grasp the information easily. Now, thyroid gland, coming to the next chapter, endocrine system. Thyroid gland secretes thyroxine, which regulates the basal metabolism in front of the neck, just below the larynx. Adrenal gland secretes adrenaline, cortisols, and androgens present as cap on both the kidneys or on top of each kidneys. Pancreas secretes insulin, glucagon, regulate glucose level in the blood. It is present in the loop of duodenum behind the stomach. Please mark it. You're going to write this. This is only needed for your examination. Okay. So all these things are important for you to remember. In front of the neck, just below the larynx. These are all important questions that can be asked. Then next, islets of Langerhans. Where are they present? They are present in the pancreas. These are the cells scattered in the pancreas. They secrete glucagon, insulin, and somatostatin. There are three types, alpha, beta, and delta cells. Though delta is not in your syllabus, but you should know that it releases somatostatin. Pituitary gland controls all the other endocrine glands. That is why it is called master gland. It releases growth hormone and many other hormones, right? It hangs from the base of the midbrain below the hypothalamus. Very important. Very important. Okay. Moving to the next. The reproductive system. Now it has got really good number of structures. Testis, it produces sperm. It is oval organ and a thin walled scrotum in the males. Now reasoning questions that why testis is located in the scrotum can be asked, which says that the temperature required for the maturation is little lower than the body. So it is in the out of the abdomen of the human males. Then inguinal canal, very important. It helps in the descent of the testis in the scrotum from the abdomen in the male child before birth, and it is in the lower anterior abdominal wall, commonly referred as groin region. The inguinal canal is also there in the females, but they are not very well developed. That is the reason why males have inguinal canal hernia, but in females that is not possible because of the very thin size of the inguinal canal. Okay, you know what is hernia? That is the digestive system shifts into the scrotum because of the inguinal canal. Then you have reproductive system, vas deferens, transports sperm from the testis to the ejaculatory duct in the males. It begins in at the epididymis in the scrotum and enters in the pelvic cavity, join the median duct or the urethra in the males. This is your vas deferens. I hope you remember the structure. Seminal vesicles secrete semen, which serves as a medium of transport and sperm activation. Very important. Okay, the question can be asked that which gland helps in the activation of sperm? So it is seminal vesicles between the posterior surface of the urinary bladder and the rectum. Okay, that is between, this is the location. Moving to the next, prostate gland. It secretes alkaline fluid which is into the semen, which neutralizes the acids present in the female vagina. And what is the location? Bilobe structure surrounds the urethra close to the origin from the bladder in the males. Please mention in the males. Bulbourethral gland or corpus gland secretes lubricant, and it is present below the prostate gland on the either side of the urethra. Okay, it is present on the either side of the urethra. Fine. Next, reproductive system, then epididymis. Epididymis is a coiled tube located at the posterior surface of the testis with the scrotum in the males. Now here there is a problem that I wrote the location only. No issues. Here they are required for maturation of the sperm. So what is the need of epididymis? I'm writing the function here. Helps. It helps in sperm maturation. It helps in sperm maturation. Okay. And gives motility. Motility. Motility to sperm. Motility matlab flagella is added here. Okay. So this is your function of epididymis. Okay. So this is the function of epididymis. Please try this out. Okay. Then penis, it helps in, I think, too much of typing. So many errors are happening. Anyway, it helps in passing out both semen and urine, and it is present in front of scrotum in the males. Okay. Then ovaries produce and store egg, very important, and secretes hormones like estrogen and progesterone. So two female hormones are here, and it is situated on the either side of the uterus in the pelvic cavity of the females. Again, see here, I'm writing males and females. So you have to mention which gender has the organ or the structure. Do not miss males and females, okay? Then moving to the next. Fallopian tube. It serves as a pathway for egg to travel from the ovaries to the uterus and a typical site of fertilization. Very important, typical site of fertilization. Then, what is the location? Two narrow tunnels extending from the upper part of the uterus towards the ovary in the females. Graafian follicle, a fully mature follicle that houses a developing egg initially, and then on the 14th day during ovulation ruptures and releases egg and secretes estrogen. Now, Graafian follicle keeps on secreting estrogen. When the estrogen level reaches high, it goes and stimulates the pituitary to release luteinizing hormone that leads to ovulation on 14th day. It is found within the ovary in the females. Moving to the next, uterus holds and nourishes a fetus during pregnancy and shades its lining. If fertilization does not occur, that is menstruation happens. And where is location? A hollow pear-shaped organ located in the lower abdomen between the bladder and the rectum in females. Fimbrae, the finger-like projections of the fallopian tube. It sweeps or catches egg and it is released from the ovary to guide it into the fallopian tube. And finger-like projections located at the end of the fallopian tube near the ovaries of the female. This is the location of the fimbrae. Corpus luteum, very important, acts as a temporary gland that secretes high level of progesterone. That is why progesterone is called a pregnancy hormone. And where it is present, it is formed inside the ovary after the rupture of Graafian follicle after ovulation in females. That after ovulation of females, Graafian follicles develop into corpus luteum. Okay. Moving to the next, the cervix. That is, acts as a gateway that allows the sperm to enter, menstrual blood to exit, and dilates to allow the childbirth. This is the complete answer for the function of cervix. Now, the lower narrow part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. Vagina क्या है? Serves as a receptacle for sperm during intercourse, the exit for the menstrual blood flow, and passage for baby during delivery. It's a muscular canal that joins the cervix to the outside of the body. That is called the vagina. Moving to the next, acrosome. It's a part of the sperm. Secretes enzyme to facilitate sperm entry in the egg by dissolving its wall. And it in the head region of the sperm it is present. Where it is present? In the head of the sperm. Right? Your question is which enzymes it releases? Secretes enzyme, no? What is the name of that enzyme which is produced by the sperm? Write it in the comment section. Amnion, now we are talking about the baby developing in the womb. The amnion, it forms the amniotic sac, which is filled with fluid to cushion the fetus against physical shock, maintains constant temperature, and allows the restricted movement of the child. And also gives equal pressure from all the sides, so the baby develops properly. The innermost membrane that encloses embryo, fetus within the uterus, that is in the female body. Chorion forms the fetal part of the placenta via that is chorionic villi. Villi are the extensions from the placenta, right? The outer boundary of the fetal membrane and is the layer of chorion is out, amnion is in, A, C, and directly interface with the mother's uterus. Okay, this is the location of chorion. Then placenta, it acts as a filtration system. That is, it complete exchange of nutrients and the waste from the mother and the baby's body, and it produces hormone. Also, it also releases hormone, and that helps in the formation of maintenance of pregnancy. Corpus. Then you have a temporary organ, disc-like structure attached to the uterine wall, connecting the mother's blood to supply to the fetus. This is the location of placenta. Then umbilical cord contains blood vessels that transport oxygenated nutrient-rich blood to the fetus and return the oxygenated blood with waste to the placenta. A cord extending from the fetal navel, that is umbilicus, to the placenta. Allantois helps in the umbilical cord vessel formations. And here they are the projections. Now, allantois is from the baby and villi is from the mother during the development and extending the embryo. That is projections found at the base of the umbilical cord during the early development and extending from the embryo. Next one is blastocyst, implants into the endometrium to establish pregnancy, and it is formed in the fallopian tube or uterus approximately 5 to 6 days after fertilization. It's a 16-cell stage basically. Hymen, a protective barrier for developing against that is a protective barrier developing in the for the developing vagina against germs during fetal development. That is the main function of hymen, and typically it is very small opening through which menstrual flow and vaginal secretions may happen, but it breaks when there is any kind of sexual activity or intercourse or any kind of extensive physical exercises. Okay, it's a thin flexible membrane located at the entrance of the vaginal canal just inside the opening in females. Okay. Last one, the Leydig cell, synthesis and secretion of testosterone, very important. And it is found in the interstitial space of the testis, situated outside and between the coiled seminiferous tubules in the males. So with this, we have completed 90 essential structures, their functions and locations. Did I miss any structure? Comment in the comment section. Happy learning, children, and perfect practice can help you to score better. So keep practicing, keep learning, and keep in touch with Biowise with Aanchal. Thank you so much. Happy learning.